Welcome to The Foundry, where leaders are forged daily. Each week we investigate themes of leadership, entrepreneurship, and mindset with some of the greatest minds in real estate. And now, the data scientist of real estate, George Roberts.
Welcome back, Passion Investing community. Today I have a couple of announcements before we get started. I am recording my audiobook. You may notice I've completely rearranged my studio. So some of the things you normally see aren't there, and some things you don't normally see are there. But in addition to recording this great new audiobook and all these totally different things I may show you at the end of the recording session, what I've done to get everything sound treated, I have something even more exciting for you today because I have the one and only Ellie Baxter. We're here to interview her and hear some of the amazing things that she's done in her investing career. She's done many things. She's a coach. She has over 700 doors. And I believe you've raised, how much have you raised in the past few years?
Like around 5 million.
About 5 million over the past couple of years or so. So beautiful. Yeah. And going, I think, to your first deal in 90 days. These are sorts of things that she's going to talk about. She's going to tell you how you can do the same thing, how you can get that first deal sooner rather than later. And with that, let's officially bring onto the show Ellie Baxter. Welcome, Ellie.
Thank you, George. I've been wanting to get on this interview with you for so long, so I'm very excited to be here.
Great. Well, all right, a couple of things. First of all, I did finally rearrange my room. So here, now I'm no
Even
longer
better.
speaking behind a foam barricade. I figured out how to reposition my microphone. So thanks for bearing with me. So I'd like to get an opportunity to get to know you better because I think that there's many reasons why we do what we do on the show. We want to know, we want great information, we want to talk to great operators, but it's also about getting to know people. Like if I want to do a deal with Ellie Baxter, whether I want to partner with her on the GP side or whether I just want to put my cash in and say, Ellie, I'd rather sit on the beach and I'd rather let you do the hard work, young lady. So let's get to know you a little better. Let's start with some whimsical questions, and then I have my super serious lightning round. So all right, Ellie, what is your favorite junk food?
Flaming hot Cheetos, the jalapeno flaming hot Cheetos.
I love it. That sounds good right now. I think I could go for some Cheetos and a beer.
Ooh,
Okay.
yes.
All right. And then if your life were a movie, what would be the theme song?
Ooh. Oh my gosh, it's such a hard question.
Because if you want, we can stall for time. I think like I would pick something like Mission Impossible or that the James Bond theme. Definitely have to be something dramatic for me, but this is about you. What would you pick though, Ellie?
I would pick the Friends theme song. I'll be there for you.
I like
Da-da-da.
it. That is so you. I'm all right. Couldn't do anything better than that. Okay. How about this? Now, if you could jump into a pool of anything, what would it be?
Chocolate or ranch. Probably
Oh
chocolate.
my goodness. I'm gonna write a book, The Chocolate Diet. And I swear, I tell everybody my whole life these days, it's all about uh, dancing, eating chocolate, and playing stringed instruments.
I
And I
love
do eat chocolate every day, every day. I had to give up
I've
the sugar
seen
though,
you
so that I
eat
don't gain
chocolate.
weight. But
Yeah, I've
yeah.
literally seen you eat chocolate. Yeah. I
Have you
love
seen my
chocolate.
chocolate diet? Have you seen me like diving into the chocolate? Like I buy it 10 pounds at a time. 10 pounds. I would go downstairs and see if it is it only 10 pounds that I'm buying at a time? But yeah, I get the restaurant sized Ghirardelli from Amazon.
Yum. Yes. If I love chocolate too.
All
It's so good for you
right, I
too.
love it. I love it. Okay, that's good. That's good. Chocolate. That's not a bad answer. But you know what? If you ever worked in a chocolate kitchen, which I have, I was working with chocolate for a long time. It was my obsession. That stuff is just horrible. It gets on your clothes, it gets on everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if it'd be fun to dive in, but maybe wading. How about a chocolate wading pool, chocolate jacuzzi?
No, I would literally
All right.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
All right, so now we've really gotten to know each other, and I think we got to get serious again really quickly before we lose our audience. So, if you could be known for only one thing, Ellie, what would it be?
Known for one thing. I don't know. I mean, for me, I think it would really just be like my undying like want and need and to help others. I've like from the
Yeah,
moment that I was like a little girl, like I've always loved helping others. So I think like if that could be the thing that I was left
yeah,
behind,
I
just
feel it, Ellie. That's good. And what is the greatest lesson in leadership you've learned as an entrepreneur or investor?
oh snap, crackle, pop. Um,
Well, you're getting better from your last answer. That was good.
um, wow, so many. I think that, syndication is literally a group of people and I think that you really have to communicate and work together as a team. You know, if their communication is not there, it can really hurt, So I think that I've always been a good communicator, but just as a leader, as somebody who's been part of multiple syndications, communication is key. And then you have to, I think the best leader is truly the best team player, right? And so it's not really just about leading, it's about supporting and helping. And I think what's one of my favorite things to do is I don't just lead, I literally am part of everything. I don't want to just to be that leader. So I think it's communication and being a team player, like really truly the ways that you succeed the most.
I love it. Well, I do see that enthusiasm in everything you do. I love the way you put that. I want to be a part of everything. So then, what personal characteristic has been most pivotal to your success?
Oh man. Um, just tenacity, determination, not giving up. Just, I think, knowing your worth. I teach that all the time that truly it starts with mindset. It's just been ingrained in into our brain. And what is that? How does it imprinted into our brain as a very young folk that, you go to school, you go to college, you get married, you have children, you live for the weekends, you work for every dollar that you make, you put money into a 401. And it's just been like, it's just so not true. You don't have to do any
Yeah,
of that. And so, but people are afraid to change their lives and do something different.
yeah,
And so I think that's been the thing that's helped me really succeed as much as I've been able to is because I didn't let that fear stop me from moving forward and like the fear of failure, fear of my worth, knowing what my value truly is. And so I have been very determined. I'm a determined person. Like I have it
yeah. I
tattooed
love it.
in Romanian on me. So just keep going, keep grinding. I think is like the biggest thing, and just know that there is a light in the tunnel, and that you are worth all the good things that happen to you. So that's huge.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of great entrepreneurs, they know how to color outside the lines. Otherwise, we wouldn't be entrepreneurs. So,
Correct.
love
We
that.
don't
Love
need
that
lines.
tenacity. You just stuck with it until you found your niche in the entrepreneurial world and finding new ones too. The cleaning business. That's awesome.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
now I have to for my trick questions here. I have to reach. Hope I don't knock over the studio again like I did at the beginning of the interview. I don't know if you can hear the clanking, but yeah, here
No.
are my random questions. So just tell me when to stop cutting the deck.
Okay, stop.
All right, top question. Oh, this is the good one because I think for you, Ellie, this is going to bring something deep. What's the biggest lie you told as a child?
As a child?
Yeah,
Well, I grew up with siblings, and so I have two younger brothers, and it was always he did it or she did it. So I think
yeah,
that there was definitely times, but you know what? I mean, like as an older, I was the oldest, so I think like I always had to take the blame of whatever for it. But yeah, I think it was always just fighting over
yeah.
who did something wrong. My mom would be like, you guys can't move, you guys can't go anywhere until one of you guys tell me who did it. Right. So it was always like that was like probably the biggest lie. Always trying to figure out, okay, well, would she believe me if I said it was my youngest brother?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, there's some asymmetry there. Being the oldest sibling, that was me as well. So,
Nice.
what's one tip or trick that investors can implement in their business today,
For investors specifically?
or entrepreneurs, anybody?
Oh, okay. I think that a lot of people are really truly ignorant when it comes to the ways that they can diversify. And they wait for somebody to teach them or tell them, which is great because that's what I do, right? I teach people. But I would not have been able to teach people without learning myself. So I think the biggest thing that I would say is do your due diligence. Boom, right? Like learn different ways that you can invest, learn different ways that you can make your money work for you. Because we live in a society that we have to make our money work for us now because we can't retire right now with what's going on with inflation and all that and the market switches. So I think just take instead of spending your time like when you're not working or whatever, like at home, go to different local meetups, go to different things and network and find ways that you can partner with people and invest your money in like startups or commercial real estate or cleaning
Oh
businesses,
yeah.
income.
Oh, you're speaking my language here. Yeah, 2 nights ago, I was at the startup meetup doing some angel investing, found some great companies, saw 6 amazing pitches,
Oh, cool.
and we'll be hosting my meetup in a couple of weeks. And that's why I do this show and why I wrote the book, really, because it's an excuse to keep learning. It's one more
Exactly.
excuse to always continue to learn because, I mean, it's so essential. No matter where you are, there's always a better place to be or someplace else that you need to move. Like I talk to great people like Ellie Baxter and I learn about Des Moines. You got to keep out there. So yeah, whatever it is for you, whether it's going on podcasts, hosting your podcast, writing a book, hosting meetups, going to meetups, never stop learning. That's awesome. I love it. Now, can you name a book that's helped to forge you as a leader or as an entrepreneur and tell us and
Ooh,
why?
a book. Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Pitch anything. If I could
Mm.
recommend any book, I would 100% recommend Atomic Habits, 5 a.m. Club, and Pitch Anything. Those three are my favorite books because the 5 a.m. Club, it forces you to think like a multimillionaire without being one, right? Like you're building your brand and your empire. Well, the 5 a.m. Club really helped me set my mornings up for success because obviously you know that saying, the early bird kills the worm, right?
Mhm.
Atomic Habits, like stacking, huge, right? And I've always been, everyone has some form of ADHD, right? We're always doing too much, right? And so I think really setting your goals up every day for success and bringing it down and really organizing your time. My favorite currency is time, right? Freedom of time. And so how do we gain that? How do we do that? Well, one thing is by stacking your days, like figuring out what habits you want to implement and take away, and how much time you spend on doing certain things that might be distracting or negative to you in your life. And then obviously Pitch Anything is the Bible for teaching people how to invest their money. It is a psychological book that gets people over that crock brain, getting people don't know what they're saying no to. We are literally giving them an opportunity to get tax incentives and all that. And so I would absolutely recommend Pitch Anything to help you raise capital. So those are three books.
Love it. Now, if you're on the video version on YouTube, you'll see me. I was going through my phone here. I'm going through Blinkist because the next to the last book I read, I think it's called The 3 Minute Rule, talks all about pitching and the importance of if you can't get it down to 3 minutes, nobody's going to be able to repeat your 60-minute pitch. So if you don't get them in the first 3 minutes, then forget about it. You're going to go work through that filter of, I don't know if I trust this person, or I
Yeah.
don't think this deal is for me. So get them in the first 3 minutes, and then whoever they have to pitch to, right? Like you got to go pitch to the husband or wife and say, like, hey, I think we should put our money in this. Well, they're not going to remember 60-minute pitch, 3 minutes. And some feedback I got from I like to call it our local Shark Tank, but it isn't. Can't use that. That's patented. But guy said after it, he said, listen, if you would just explain it like a child, then I'll remember it. That's the real reason why you explain it like a child, not because the people aren't going to get the details, but if you can explain it as if you were talking to a child, that's the pitch you're going to remember. And which one do you think you're going to go and invest in?
Right. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. It is simplicity. I think the easier that you can teach somebody how to invest, the easier it is for them to want to do it and understand how to do it. So I agree 100%. It
Love
definitely
it.
takes
Now, can
me
you?
longer than 3 minutes for me because I ask so many questions and because I want to be able to learn about what they do and how they use their money. So I don't really ever pitch the first 3 minutes. I just ask questions. But I know that everybody has different ways of doing it. But one of my favorite things is to find what their problem is and give them a solution. And I think that
Yeah.
I learned that from Pitch Anything too, is if you're learning what someone else has a problem with in their life, whether it's like trying to gain, wealth for their children or quit their W-2 because they just have a newborn baby. And, maternity leave is only like what, like 6 weeks, right? That's crazy. So finding out what their problem is and then switching it and being like, hey, I see that you want to do these things. Let me give you a solution. And I think that's been a really great way for me to then move into that second conversation where I show them how to make the money work for them.
Yeah, beautiful. Now, if you could just wrap it up by sending us out with a quote to help forge our listeners as leaders and entrepreneurs, what would that be? Do you have any favorite quotes?
Oh, snap, crackle pop.
Do your deal sooner rather than later. That's the quote I got from the beginning of that could be the title of
Yeah,
this episode.
us getting a deal sooner rather than
Yeah,
later.
get that deal sooner rather than later with
Yeah,
ED.
that's a great one. I always say, I love that. I always say your network is your net worth, but I know that's used a lot, but I definitely would not be where I am today without that. Um, people that know me know that I always say, let's effing go. And so that's one of my quotes that I always say. Um,
I like it. That's very Ellie. I think I'm
yeah,
going to remember that. That's what I'm going to
there you
remember from
go.
this interview. Ask me in a year, what did Ellie say on your show? She said, "Let's effing go."
I always end all of my stuff with that. And then I also like you have to get yourself uncomfortable to be comfortable. That's one of my favorite quotes too. So yeah, all of those, great.
Beautiful stuff. And, all great things must come to an end. And this was a great interview. I want to thank you so much, Ellie, for taking the time to come share your knowledge and experience with the audience. And if you want to reach out to the incomparable Ellie Baxter, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, you can just literally call me or text me, and I give my number out to everybody because I don't care. Yeah, so my phone number is 984-789-7586. You can also, I'm still doing branding for all my stuff too. So you can just email me at ebaxter101@gmail until I get all my branding going for my coaching. But that you can just, yeah, it's just my first initial last name, really easy as well. And then obviously social media, I'm huge. So LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook, it's just all Ellie Baxter. So you can just look
You're a
me up.
phenomenon. I think you're on Instagram every day. So,
Yes, I am.
uh, love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Ellie.
You, George. I really appreciate it.